What's up, guys? IT Squad here. So this is my next cell phone collection update. I know not that long since I did the last one, and the collection hasn't changed that much. But some things have happened to the phones. Some of them have became non-functional. Some of them I've noticed weird issues with, and some of them I've actually been able to fix. So yeah. Thought I'd update you guys on what's going on. So yeah, let's go and do it. So you're probably curious as to why I'm actually in front of the camera for this collection update. Well, I have to do this on my floor now because there's way too many phones for me to fit on my desk. So yeah. So let me explain to you how I'm doing this one. So for this one, I'm gonna start with the broken phones, or the non-functional phones, and then I'm gonna move on to the smartphones, then the slightly lesser smartphones, and then on to the dumb phones, and yeah, that'll be that. So let's go and do it. Alright, let's start out with the broken phones here. So we'll start with this. This is the UT Starcom CDM 7076. So what happened with this one is, basically, I think it just needs the official UT Starcom charger because it just hates the one that I'm using, which is a Blackberry mini USB. It might have like some life in it, but I doubt it. No, it doesn't look like it. I think the battery's dead. But yeah, I'm going to try and hunt that down, but it's not particularly easy because UT Starcom is not that common anymore. Well, it doesn't exist anymore. But yeah. So there's that. It was also heating up pretty bad before all of this happened, and it ended up in the non-functional drawer. So yeah, there's that. Move that over there. Next up, this is the Blackberry Z10. You guys saw the last collection update. You know that this thing is bricked. I installed basically the wrong carrier's OS on this thing. I think I installed like the AT&T or the Sprint profile on this guy, and this is a Verizon model. So it's bricked. I can't do anything about that, which really sucks because I really wanted to check this phone out. So yeah, that really sucks, to be honest. I have the battery in the other drawer. I'm not gonna go get it, but yeah. So next, this is the Samsung Gusto 2. If you guys saw last collection update, you know that it was locked. Well, now it is stuck in a boot loop, which is great. So yeah, that's just awesome. So yeah, no way getting out of that one. Oh boy. Next up, this is the LG Venus. Yeah. So what happened is I got the phone, you know, I checked it out, and then something happened. It was feeling loose. It felt like the hinge, part of the hinge was loose, so I was trying to open it up, and yeah, I tore the display cable, which is fantastic. So, and the rest of the parts are everywhere in that drawer. So yeah, it's pretty unfortunate, because this is actually kind of a cool phone. This is actually one of my favorite Verizon phones. And what is the camera doing? Do you want to focus or not? Clearly not. This is the rest of the sum of the parts from the Venus, so yeah, not too hot. Next up, this is the LG VX6100. It's coming up on a year since this one actually broke apart. So yeah. The keypad gets power, but the battery's not in it, so yeah. A lot more broken phones this time. This is the Newmind F15, the car phone. This one just out of nowhere stopped working a while ago. It has a pretty bad crack in the hinge right here, so I'm guessing that might have something to do with it. Not so sure, but yeah. So I do still have the LG AX155, but I can't find it, and it's also in a million pieces like the Venus. I drop tested it. If you guys saw that video, then you would know. So yeah. And last for the broken phones, this is the Kurio Touch 4S. It's a kid's phone. This thing is literally the biggest piece of shit ever. I mean, it's such a garbage phone. You can see the screen is cracked internally, and yeah, it doesn't work. So yeah, let's move on to the smartphones. All right, starting off for the smartphones here. Whoops. This is the Samsung Moment. This is running Android 2.1. You guys have seen this numerous times. It's pretty cool. Yeah, funny to see the Sprint logo since Sprint is T-Mobile now. Alright. Next, this is the HTC Trophy. You guys have seen this again numerous times. I've had this for a few years. As you guys saw from last collection update, I did get the OS back and working, so it is acting perfectly fine. So, yeah, there you go. And it hasn't done the connect to computer sign since then, so yeah, this phone is pretty much set until it wipes this up again, but you know, hopefully that won't happen. Next, this is the iPhone 3G. You guys have seen this numerous times before. 8 gigabytes, black, AT&T, bad Wi-Fi. That's the whole sum. So yeah. Next up, this is the Huawei Ascend Plus, which you know, it works totally fine. Actually, pretty decent battery life. Actually, not too bad of a screen. It's 720p. It is an LCD, but viewing angles are actually surprisingly decent. Color's not too bad. So yeah, I mean, for a pretty low-end phone, I'm actually kind of impressed. Although, I mean, it is old. It is running Android 4.0. So yeah. Not too much app support, basically none at this point. So yeah. There we go. Next, this is the ZTE Sonata 2, which works totally fine. It had a few issues, like it was heating up a lot and the battery would drain really fast. But that was pretty much it. This, unlike the Huawei, this actually has a pretty awful screen. Shitty viewing angles. I'm sorry, I just love that cricket sound. Pretty bad viewing angles, and yeah, it's really not all that great. It's in really good condition though, so yeah, that's nice. And I also don't like this, the back is actually like basically the whole shell, so that's kind of annoying, but it's whatever. Not a big deal. This is running Android 4.4.4, so yeah. And the lock button needs a little bit of time for it to get a hold of itself, but yeah, there you go. Alright, now moving on to the good smartphones, so I'm just going to pick them randomly. I guess we'll start with this one. Whoop. Okay, this is the LG Phoenix 3. It is cracked and it's pretty scratched up, so screen's not in too great condition, but the rest of the casing is pretty decent. This is running Android 7.0. So yeah, not too bad. It's a little laggy, but it's not like super slow. So yeah. And it's running Nova Launcher actually isn't too bad on this guy. So yeah. And shout out to Backdrops for this wallpaper. It is sick. Next, this is the LG Rebel 4. Basically a new gen of that one, just on a different carrier and under a different name. The AT&T version is the Phoenix 4, which actually does have a better processor than this one. This one, I believe, has a Snapdragon 212, where the Phoenix 4 actually, I think, has a Snapdragon 427. So yeah, this volume's down pretty low. So yeah, but it actually has a really good screen. Decent battery life, and yeah, I mean, it's a 720p screen, it's an LCD, but the viewing angles are actually surprisingly really good. Color's fantastic, actually. Saw the password, not a big deal. Next, sorry, burping. This is the AT&T Radiant Core. It has some brand name, I'm not sure what it is. I can find it in Google Photos. I'll put it up on the screen here. I think it's like Tissot. I'm not sure, but not the watchmaker, but something like that. I think it's like TICCO. But yeah, this is running Android 9.0 Go, so pretty up to date. It's actually not too bad. It is, although this thing, it has a awful screen and awful camera, and it's pretty slow. But it's a nice size. And it has a misaligned micro USB port. The back casing is the entire shell, which is very annoying. And yeah. Other than that, and it also, the sign into AT&T thing will never go away. That's probably just AT&T's fault, though. And AT&T's bloatware is out of control. Seriously. I had to turn on the AC there for a second. It is super hot in my room. Anyways, this is the ZTE Maven 3. Zoom out on that. Works totally fine. It has an unusable 8 gigs of storage. You guys have heard me rant about that many times. It has not a great screen. It's not super slow. It's not as slow as the Radiant. But yeah. Not a great camera. Still better than the Radiant. And actually, like, symmetrical micro USB port, unlike the Radiant. But not as much storage as those three. A better speaker than all three of them, I will say, though. So yeah, this is running Android 7.1.1, I think. Oh, and also the Rebel is running Android 8.0. So yeah. Next, this is the iPhone SE. It's not my daily driver anymore, but I use this pretty much every day to like connect to my Apple TV. And I also, this is actually still a decent phone for gaming. I mean, the battery sucks on this thing, but, other than that, it's actually a really good phone. Oh, right. So, yeah. This is running iOS 13. I think it's 13.6. Pretty sure. Oh, 13.5.1. There you go. Next, this is the Samsung Galaxy J3. This is the 2016 version. Works totally fine. This one's on boost. A pretty decent screen. I'm actually surprised this screen isn't OLED. It's still 720p, but I mean, it actually does not look bad at all. Color's pretty decent. Viewing angles are pretty decent. I mean, the blacks are super inky. So, yeah. The screen is definitely my favorite thing about this phone. This is running Android 5.1.1, so, yeah. And unfortunately, the Boost Mobile ones aren't upgradable to 6.0, which really is what I wanted this phone for, because I do like the TouchWiz 6.0 instead of 5.0, but it's whatever. Next up, this is the Samsung Galaxy S6. I had to keep this one on because if this phone is under like a certain battery level, it won't turn on. You have to charge it before you actually turn it on, which is kind of annoying, but it's whatever. This is a pretty awful battery life. It has a broken micro USB charging port, but I have wireless charging, so that's not a big deal. It has a fantastic screen. The beautiful 1440p OLED looks really good. So, yeah. This is running Android 7.0, so, yeah. And last for the smartphones, we have my two Galaxy S9s. This one is my daily driver. And then this is my previous daily driver. Yeah. I explained that in the last video, so yeah. Actually, in the last two. It's been that long, Jesus Christ. This one's unlocked, this one's on Verizon, so yeah. And there's my little calico. Follow her. Man, do I need to charge this thing, Jesus Christ. Shout out the backdrops for this wallpaper, it looks sick. Now on to the slightly lesser smartphones. Mostly the stash of Blackberries that I keep in the drawer. No real good explanation for this one. So, yeah, let's just get into it. We'll start with the one Blackberry that I don't have 15 of. This is the Blackberry Curve 9370. Oh, it's on. Actually, most of these are on. Both of them, this works totally fine. This is the only of my Blackberries that doesn't have a touchscreen, but yeah. I think it's running BBOS 7, so yeah. Pretty cool, this one's on Verizon. So yeah. One of the screws basically just won't go back in. It's not that it can't come out, it won't go back in. It's very weird. And now on to my 15 BlackBerry Bold 9930s. This one, you can see it has a broken line of pixels at the bottom here. But all these 9930s have touchscreens, which is actually very cool. All of them are on Sprint, so yeah. I'll just bring them out and show you any issues with any of them. These are really dirty, I need to clean them. Here's another one. This one, it's kind of hard to tell, but it is cracked a little bit right here. Yes, this is an iPhone 11 Pro wallpaper on a BlackBerry. Hey, don't hate. Let's try again. These Bolds actually have pretty good screens, really good touch response. And actually pretty decent cameras. They're only 3 megapixels, but they have flashes. Actually, no, I think they're 5 megapixels. Yeah, they might be 5. But they actually produce some pretty nice images. So yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed with the cameras on these guys. And some of them actually do have cameras, some of them don't. Like this one doesn't have a camera. This one does. Yeah. This one does. This one has something stuck to it. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'll get that off later. Yeah. This one doesn't have a camera. This one has a bit of a messed up, seems to have a bit of a messed up trackpad. Yeah, maybe not. No, I think it's a little bit weak, but it's not that big of a deal. This one pretty much is good. Doesn't have a camera either. So yeah, bring that back up. So yeah. And here's the last one from the top drawer. The batteries in these are not particularly great. So yeah, this one has something stuck to the top row of buttons, which I have no idea what that is. And in the bottom drawer, works totally fine. This one 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 is almost dead. This one has a pretty battery, so yeah. Actually, even if I swap batteries from all these, this one usually drains the fastest, which is very weird. 2 more. This one doesn't have a back cover, but other than that, it works totally fine. And last one, I'm not extending my leg again. Jesus. Yeah. There you go. That's all the Blackberries. Now, next for the slightly lesser smartphones, this is the LG 306G. Now I'm going to give this one the smartphone title because this actually does have Wi-Fi. It's pretty non-functional, like it doesn't really accept a lot of certificates on the browser, but you know, other than that, pretty much a smartphone. Has actually it has a pretty good touch response. Ignore that. Decent speaker, although the volume's down low, because normally it's extremely loud. So yeah. Pretty cool phone. Next, this is the Samsung Blackjack 2. This one, it kept giving me a charging error for a while, but it managed to kind of wear off, so yeah. It's all good now. So yeah. And also, the Samsung Master Reset code definitely works for this phone. I tried it. So, yeah. Next, this is the Samsung SCH R375C. This one is pretty messed up. It has a severed, not completely severed, but a shaved battery contact. The battery has a completely bled water damage indicator. And yeah, it's not pretty with this one. So yeah. Alright, now on to the dumb phones. I'm going to go completely randomly. Start with this. This is the LG CE110, my first phone ever. Pretty cool. Yes, this is the exact one. Works totally fine. The battery absolutely sucks. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. This is one of my two Sanyo SCP-5300s. These phones are coming up on 18 years old, and it is amazing that they still work. Although, I've kept them well, so yeah. So yeah, really cool. This is the Sanyo PM8200, which works totally fine. The battery can tend to be kind of erratic in this thing, but other than that, it's usually perfectly fine. The exterior screen doesn't work on this guy. I've probably mentioned that in every collection update, but yeah, it's busted. Not a big deal though. This is the Samsung SGHT105G. Works totally fine. Pretty interesting speaker. I'm not really sure where that's coming out. This phone doesn't actually have any volume buttons. The volume buttons are in the D-pad, which is very weird. So yeah. Not a great battery, but it's fine. Next up, this is the LG Rumor Reflex, which has a very, very bad power button, but it works. Screen's also really scratched up. I was bored, so this was one of the victims of my boredom, so yeah. Next, this is the LG Accolade, which works totally fine. This is actually one of my favorite older Verizon flip phones. It's actually 10 years old in 2020, so that's kind of cool. Would you shut it? So yeah. That vibrating, it was like shaking the whole floor. Next up, this is the Motorola W385, which works totally fine. It has an okay battery, but to charge it I have to put it in another phone to actually get it to charge. So yeah, but it works. Although they remove the option where you can factory reset this phone for some reason. I'm not sure why. I don't know. Beyond me. This is the LG Cosmos 2. Works totally fine. It's in pretty decent condition, besides the few scratches on the screen, but that's not a big deal. The keyboard's not particularly great. I mean, I think it's actually getting better as much as the more I use it, which isn't particularly often. But yeah, And I am going to have to switch out the batteries, so I will be right back. Alright, now that's taken care of. Ugh. This is the LG Cosmos 3, which works totally fine. It is in awful shape. Paint scratches are just everywhere. The keyboard works better than on the Cosmos 2, surprisingly, for how shitty of condition this is in. It's kind of impressive. So yeah. But honestly, this and the Cosmos 3, besides the design, are basically the same phone. So yeah. I always forget my camera has a manual focus option. Anyways, this is the Motorola Barrage, which works totally fine. It's actually it's in decent shape. The lock on the back fell out, but that's not a big deal. Actually, I took it out because it was pretty much stuck. So yeah. This one has an extended battery in it, which is nice. I guess shout out to the seller that sold it to me. So yeah. This is a pretty decent screen. I actually really like the outside screen on this thing because it's, you know, pretty large for an outside screen on a flip phone. So yeah. I mean, for comparison, that's the W385's outer screen, which is like 1/10 the size of the Barage's screen. So yeah, it's kind of impressive. Next up, this is the Kyocera Marble, also known as the K127, and that is spelled MARBL. So yeah. I had to get a charger for this, which I did. Battery's not particularly great. It's fine, but nothing better than that. But man, this is old. It's also my only phone on Virgin Mobile, so that's kind of cool. This is the Samsung Intensity 2. Works totally fine. It's in pretty decent shape. That pretty cool animated wallpaper. So yeah, there you go. This is one of my two LG VX5500s, which is the predecessor to the Accolade. No, they don't have a name like the Accolade. It's just called VX5500. So yeah, batteries are actually pretty decent in this. They're not the current battery champ out of all these phones. That definitely goes to the 306G, but pretty impressive. Here's the other SCP-5300. This one's in better shape. So there you go. Here's the other VX5500. There you go. This is the LG Octane. Works totally fine. Has a pretty weak speaker on the outside. It's better on the inside. but turn up the volume on this guy and it's pretty decent on the outside. So yeah, it also has a pretty decent camera. This is the LG VX8300. This one, it does have a lock code on it, but, you know. And the speaker is actually buzzing pretty bad. I'm not really sure what's up with that. The battery pretty much sucks in this thing. It's pretty bad. But yeah, you can see it does have a lock code. Didn't think that holding that button would actually, you know, send it the code. I thought it would actually just, you know, be like a button pressed unlock, but that is not the case. So yeah, kind of sucks, but whatever. This is the Samsung Trance. Works totally fine. So yeah, and this one, nope, still have not removed the lock code. I'm working on that, but yeah. Next, this is the Motorola W418G, which is just cheap, just super cheap feeling. Really not a very good phone. Doesn't feel like it's actually manufactured by Motorola. So yeah, not impressed with this phone, but whatever. Ugh. And last, this is the Samsung Gusto. It has a pretty bad screen, decent battery, but yeah. So yeah, there you go. So that is going to wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button down below, and follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And I'll go and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.